morning, good evening, good night, depending on where you are. Today's live stream consists of a crazy price prediction that we got from the man that's been buying a lot of Ethereum lately, the man who has like billions of dollars worth of Ethereum, Tom Lee, one of the rising stars of the crypto world because he buys all of our bags. He has made some pretty crazy price predictions when it comes to Ethereum. We're also going to be looking at some of the macro conditions that the market's currently on, some stuff that I thought was interesting. And that's pretty much the live stream. I mean, I'm trying to go ahead and do this every single day, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We actually, for the first time in a very long time, I actually got it on time. So pretty proud of that stuff. But good morning, good morning, good morning, good evening, everybody. Let's get right into the news. An exciting day today. Today was a pretty good day in the crypto markets. We had nothing happen with Bitcoin, but Ethereum is starting to run again. Ain't that something? Yeah, yep. That's very interesting. Ethereum is up 3% at the time. Bitcoin is down. This signals to the market that there is a differentiating outlook in regards to the market a couple months ago. How's it going, Looker? Welcome. Here is the deal. When it comes to crypto, we are all a little bit brain dead. There is this thing called a super cycle. And a lot of people think that for some reason this thing is actually like a real thing. Now, it technically is, but I'll kind of explain why it has become a thing. Let's just go ahead and pull out the notepad for this thing. This is one of those notepad moments. So here's the 4-year super cycle. Every 4 years, crypto goes up and down. Now, of course, everybody knows that this thing exists, but it isn't a real thing. There is no such thing as a 4-year super cycle. The only reason that a 4-year super cycle happens is because you believe in the 4-year super cycle. If you did not believe in the 4-year super cycle, the 4-year super cycle would not exist. And so what's going to end up happening here is, given the fact that most of the market is run by retail, something I learned today, I actually didn't know that. I thought institutions were buying our bags, but apparently when it comes to like Bitcoin ETFs and stuff like that, like if we type Bitcoin ETF, only about, if we put this entire pie here, only about 30% of this thing is owned by institutions. The rest of this is you. I mean, this entire run has been facilitated by retail. But of course, retail only has so much money. We have to pay rent. We have things to do. So we can't really buy forever. We're running out of money. And so the institutions are going to end up eating more and more of this pie as the cycle ends up continuing. And that's exactly what's happening now. A bunch of these institutions, they're coming out, doing their little main character arcs. And that's what we're seeing with Tom Lee and everything in between. So let's hear from themselves. I mean, we've got here, Tom Lee just called for a $16,000 Ethereum on CNBC. Very interesting. Let's hear it.
Did some research from Sean Farrell, who's our head of digital asset strategy, and he put out a presentation about Ethereum today. So he thinks the ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin could go back to its 2021 highs, which is about 0.14. That would value Ethereum today at around 16,000, and it's currently 3,700. So he's just saying Bitcoin ratio versus ETH, let's get back to where it was 5 years ago, which makes sense because it's a better story today than it was in 2021. And that gets you, close to 16,000.
So one last question on all of this. Taking a step back, you're a retail investor, you're looking at your portfolio. What do you want your holdings to look like potentially? And I realize it's individualized for everybody, but what do you want your holdings to look like? Crypto versus stocks versus other things?
Well, in 2017, when we first wrote about Bitcoin, we recommended 1% to 2% into crypto. That has been 100x for our clients. Today, we're saying if you're starting, 5 to 10% is appropriate for the median investor. If someone's younger and they can let time work in their favor, then 20% or more makes sense. That's consistent with the BlackRock mathematical calculations. And again, I think there's still a lot of upside. Just keep in mind, Wall Street is running into the blockchain right now.
Well, Tom Lee.
So the boomers should only allocate 5 to 10% of their portfolio. The Zoomers, aka us, we should be allocating 20% of our portfolio. So he thinks that the outlook long-term on Ethereum is going to be very bullish. So his mindset is, so 2025, we're going to hit 16K, which is pretty big. That's a pretty big price prediction. I'm not going to lie. I don't think a lot of people are expecting 16K on this stuff. But anyway, so he's expecting by 2030 for the price of Ethereum to be a lot higher, like 250K to 500K, which is really high. That is a freaking very high number. 250K, you know, we have like 100K. That's a very high number. I think all of us kind of agree on that. Now, these multiplier effects are insane. And I kind of agree. At this point, it feels like a lot of the crypto market is being propped up by the hype that institutions are going to come and buy our bags. That is only going to happen if crypto becomes profitable to hold. And what we've been seeing in the markets is one, this is the reason that people are buying cryptocurrencies right now. So the reason that you buy cryptocurrency, this is little you, right? It's because of the fact that you want someone else to buy your bags higher. So you want to make money. That's pretty much the only reason you buy crypto right now. Now, what he wants to happen is that people get crypto because not only do they want to make money, but they also want to use it for something. I mean, whether or not it's keeping data on chain or whatever it is, or playing video games and trading NFTs, that is what he wants people to use it. And then all of a sudden, these things are going to make revenue and cryptos are going to pop. Now, before people start giving me this argument that revenue doesn't exist in crypto and no company's making revenue, that couldn't be further from the truth. There are companies like Hyperliquid, for example, that are making a lot of money right now. If you look at the numbers, Good morning. If you look at the numbers right now, the numbers are pretty staggering. Over the past year, stablecoins is year to date, so not even yearly, $9 billion. They've made $9 billion over the past 8 months, and DEXs have made about $1 billion. A vast majority of that being the hero of the DeFi space, Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is making a lot of money. I mean, check that out. Hyperliquid is absolutely killing it. Hyperliquid is taking up more and more market share dominance against Binance and some of the other big players. Hyperliquid is probably like the freest money right now because as long as they make money and buy back their token, the token's just going to go higher. That's just how it's going to work. As long as they're making revenue, they can buy back this token, it's going to go higher. Apple was the same thing. I looked into the history of Apple, and for the longest time, so Steve Jobs, his priority was product. Like the only thing he cared about was product. They would make a new product every year. I mean, we'd have an iPhone like this, and then an iPhone like that, and then a huge thing like this, and a thing like that. Just a bunch of different products. iMacs that look like they have little spheres in them, little dots in them, tons of different little gadgets, shenanigans. Now, Steve died, unfortunately. And when he died, this guy called Tim Cook took over. And so Tim Cook did not care about any of this stuff. His products were the same thing every single year. And they would do like the minimum. Maybe they would add a little circle here every now and then they would add another circle here. That's kind of the only thing that Tim Cook did. Like they would do very minor upgrades. If it worked, it worked. Let's not change it ever. Let's let our competitors eventually catch up and defeat us. And let's not capture enough of the AI market share. We're going to go ahead and try to just wing it. We're going to wing it. And then when we're too far behind, we're going to pretend that our product is working when it's not. But the good thing that Tim Cook did was he did buybacks. And he did buybacks based on the revenue they were making. And their stock shot up like crazy, absolutely crazy. And then everyone started doing it. And then Warren Buffett thought he was some kind of genius. That's what's happening in the crypto space right now. The crypto space for the longest time was this. People were building out their products and they were doing their thing, but we weren't seeing a lot of price action. Altcoins were going down at the same time that innovation was going up. The blockchain has quite literally never been more efficient than it is right now, and yet prices are not reflective of that. And so what's going to happen in this new meta is these companies are getting tired of that. They are making money, but they just aren't spending it on their chart. And what they're going to do now that these companies are spending money on their chart is they're all going to start doing it. And we've seen that across the board. Tons of companies are beginning to go ahead and buy back their own cryptocurrencies. That's what's happening here. These stock buybacks, it's just the equivalent. It's crypto buybacks this time. And so once we see these crypto buybacks and we see this entire market running, let me ask you, if you're just watching this for the first time, what do most people do? How do most people invest? Well, in today's day and age, most people invest through a 401k. They have some kind of investment for portfolio, right? That they invest into. Hopefully, if you're privileged enough, you have your company match the 401k and you're supposed to stack that for years and years and years. You, for the most part, are throwing your 401k into speculative stocks. You're throwing them into stocks, which is like the S&P 500. The S&P 500 and index funds, mutual funds, like that's the stuff that you're throwing your money into. Now, in my opinion, this works great. I think this is a great model because at the end of the day, this is where money is flowing. But this never would have worked. This never would have worked if in 1971, we didn't lose our tie to the gold. I mean, we had a big tie to gold. If we kept this tie, then none of this stuff would ever have happened. And most Americans today would probably not be investing into the 401k. Maybe they'd be investing into gold or something that would prop up the US dollar. But the only reason that the US dollar is worth as much as it's worth right now is because of the companies that are leading technology today. And that's why most of these are tech stocks. Most of them are tech stocks. Pretty much the entire stock market is run by tech stocks. So the way that I piece this together is that Tom Lee is predicting this in the crypto space. He is predicting that Bitcoin's 2017 moment, which is when Bitcoin really got its initial rise. That's when everybody started paying attention to Bitcoin. It went from almost nothing to being an actual asset class. That moment, like this big moment here, which I guess would have been, Bitcoin's 2017 moment. This big moment is what's happening in 2025 with Ethereum. He believes that technology, all that tech that's been built up over the last couple of years, all of this is finally culminating to this big moment where all of these tech stocks or equivalent tech cryptocurrencies that are making revenue, which they are making revenue, they are going to be the next big thing. So people are going to be throwing their 401ks or whatever at these tech cryptos, which is the next big thing. And of course, there's billions of dollars to be raised. And like I said before, a vast majority of Bitcoin ETF capital right now is retail. Not a lot of it is institutions. So these institutions haven't even tapped in yet. Once they tap in, who even knows how complex this crypto market's going to be. But for now, it's pretty simple still. It's a bunch of retail. So we kind of know what retail wants. We kind of know that retail has the mindset of a 4-year super cycle. And then we also know that during these little bear markets, institutions buy up a lot of our crypto at a very cheap price. I mean, Michael Saylor did that. Infamously, he bought up a lot of our supply. And now he's able to go ahead and just lead his stock forward. he's just printing money at this point. So tech cryptos are going to be the next big thing with Ethereum. I agree with this take. I don't think this take is far-fetched at all. And I think this is a long time coming. A long time coming. Good morning, Big A. Welcome to the stream. This is that time in the crypto life cycle where things become materialized. The tech has been getting better. There's no doubt about it. If you compare to AVAX or HBAR, any of these chains, even Ethereum, the tech is so much better than it was 4 years ago. It's not even close. But the price, it was Steve Jobs level. They weren't focusing on their price at all. Now it feels like the crypto markets, now that Wall Street's here, they're going to start doing these buybacks. They're going to start doing that Buffett strategy of just pumping it up. Now the tech might not get better as fast, but the prices will. The prices will. And as long as the prices keep going up, people are going to be throwing money from the 401k into these tech cryptos to try to beat inflation. That's what they're going to go ahead and do. Like, the way that you would get rich in the early 2000s or like the 1990s, the way you would get rich was, I mean, a lot of people were buying to the whole tech bubble, which was a thing. But the other thing people were doing was houses. And houses have kind of gotten to the point where their median price makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense for the most part. And if you're in Florida, like I am, insurance is absolutely ridiculous. It's all ridiculous right now. So people aren't parking their money there if they're young. They're going to be throwing it into these speculative things that are outperforming the market, like Ethereum. So I do buy this. I am a believer, 100% a believer. And I don't think Tom Lee is far-fetched at all for doing this Ethereum price prediction. I think this is totally fair, honestly. Like, I think this is a fair prediction. And I don't know if I would put 20% of my portfolio into Ethereum only. I mean, I'm technically biased because I'm in the crypto space and I'm doing it. But like, if I was someone that wasn't into crypto at all, maybe a little bit less than that, but still very interesting. Very interesting. Some people are predicting like $6,000 Ethereum or a $5,000 Ethereum. I don't know. A lot of people, I feel like, are going to be sidelined when this thing runs a lot harder than people are expecting it to run, because the mania that markets tend to produce at the end of Q4, it's unprecedented. And everybody has already kind of been bought into this vision. Other things that are cool today that I wanted to mention. Japan Post Bank to launch a digital currency in 2026. The Nikkei talked about it. That's very interesting. Nikkei Asia to revitalize $1.3 trillion in deposits. So we'll see what happens there. We know about the Japanese stock market and how the Japanese economy has done nothing for a very long time. They've been going through stagflation, which really sucks. I mean, Japanese people work their heart out, and yet their economy is just at a standstill, total standstill. And it's been in a standstill for a very long time. So hoping it gets better over there for Japanese people. I know Japan was trying to go into Bitcoin pretty hard, and they do seem to be one of the more forward-thinking countries when it comes to crypto. So nice to see them continuously tap into the crypto markets. I find that South Korea is probably more advanced of a nation when it comes to investing into crypto. Like if you look into the ISO 20022 cryptocurrencies like XRP, HBAR, XLM, Cardano, I mean, they're big fans of those cryptos. When I go to KBW, which is Korea Blockchain Week, and that's going to be next month, that's going to have a big audience for those cryptocurrencies. So we'll kind of see what comes from that, how much liquidity comes from that. I'm not expecting too crazy of an injection, but still it's good to see, banks using cryptocurrency. That's never a bad thing. Other things is inflows. So inflows have been going absolutely crazy. Ethereum spot ETF bought $3.87 billion worth of Ethereum in August 2025. That's a big deal. $11 trillion BlackRock bought $3.38 billion worth of Ethereum, while only, this is interesting, buying $707 million worth of Bitcoin. So less Bitcoin. Very interesting. ETH broke all-time highs. And then if ETH closes above 4630, which it didn't, but still a lot of volume is entering Ethereum. The rotation is happening. People are doing the rotation. People think these YouTubers are crazy for saying, BTC to ETH. I can't even draw anymore. To alts, but it's happening. Like this rotation is actually a thing, and it's only a thing because other people believe it's going to be a thing. It's a retail thing. Like this is all retail manipulation. That's all this is. If retail wasn't buying into this stuff, this wouldn't be happening right now. We wouldn't have this crazy run right here. So very, very interesting to say the least. Very interesting. And if you look at BitMine, they reign as the #1 ETH treasury in the world. They have a lot of volume. There's a lot of reason to be someone that is holding cryptocurrency in their treasury for their company. I mean, they have a $7 billion market cap now. Look at this insane run. The stock went from $4, practically nothing. I mean, look at the stock. It's so bad. Practically dead. And then it went over to $100 a share. Like it was nothing. Like it was literally nothing. This is insane. This is the craziest story I've ever seen in my entire life with the stock market. Like it's crazy. $7 billion, like it's nothing. And they own a hell of a lot of crypto, If I look up the treasury companies, where is it? Let's look it up. They have $7 billion worth of Ethereum. Like they have 1.4% of the entire ETH supply. That's insane. If ETH goes anywhere, their stock is going to go crazy. So some things that I'm personally monitoring is that it's a no-brainer right now. In terms of the more speculative stuff in the crypto markets, we have stuff like GIB. So GIB's on HBAR ecosystem's doing pretty well. Solana, we've had a couple runners. Like there is this unstable coin that was running earlier today, 65 mil. So that's running. Things just aren't as heated as they were. There was a runner called Cope and it just died. It just completely died out. Good morning. And then Chronos also. Do the streams get saved? Of course it gets saved. After the stream, it all just re-goes and reboots itself. And then we had a couple reboots on the Chronos ecosystem, which I found interesting. I think it's just teams reviving their own coins. But I'm not really interested in trading any of these. I don't think any of these will be profitable. Right now, I am simply waiting to see when enough people bid Ethereum. Like if 5 to 10% of the Ethereum supply gets bought up by institutions, that's a pretty good time to position yourself for altcoin season. That's a pretty good indicator that a lot of people are buying into Ethereum. Enough of the Ethereum supply is out there. If there's a person that's heading Ethereum, then things are going to go pretty crazy. Like those are the things that I'm looking at to see when we're going to have this big run. A lot of people are saying September is going to be a boring month. Some people are saying that when it comes to the crypto markets, you should go on vacation in September, come back in October. They're right to some extent. They're our volume fluctuations around this time of the year, and people do need to spend their money. VCs have dead ends that they need to meet, and a lot of that comes down to Q4. So Q4, there's a good reason that Q4 is always so big for crypto and speculative markets. It's because they need to spend their money and they need to make investments. But we'll see. We have a question from King Yellow. Thoughts on guns? So honestly, I spent like $6,000 on nodes for Gunzilla. I mean, how do I sugarcoat this? I can't sugarcoat it. I mean, we're fucked. We're cooked. We're totally cooked. I'm so cooked. So cooked. I don't know why they decided to leave AVAX for the most part. If you look at their contracts right now, like, why is their main contract on Solana? Who cares? Their main contract should be on AVAX. No, I called this out though. You know, I'm an AVAX ambassador, so I should be biased when I'm bullish on games, but I can't lie to people either. I would much rather value my reputation than just say, oh, the token's going to go up, guys, don't worry. No, the honest truth is it doesn't look good right now. Doesn't look good at all. They're going to be doing, 30% buybacks on what they're making. But if they're not making money, if they're losing money, they're not going to do buybacks anytime soon. And they think that going to Solana or bridging liquidity to Solana is magically going to make their game better. It doesn't make any sense. You just got to go ahead and make some revenue. That's the only way to make that game better. You got to focus on the game rather than the token, or you got to just sell the tokens and just pray that you can make it work eventually. So nothing good in the short term is what I'm expecting. And unlocks are coming. Just the gaming space is tough right now. If Gunzilla had launched in October when they did their first big campaign, this token would look way different. But they just didn't launch during a good time. So they just are getting kind of wrecked as a result. It probably doesn't even have anything to do with the team. It probably has more to do with the gaming markets than it does the actual team. The time just sucks to launch a gaming coin. There was this token that launched recently. It was called Born. Yeah, I can show. Okay, here it is. So Born launched, and they, that's the chart. That's a pretty accurate depiction of this chart. It's just down only. It's not a good time to launch a gaming coin unless you have revenue to buy back your coin. That's why I was talking about earlier about buybacks. Buybacks are the big thing. If you do buybacks, you do well. If you don't do buybacks and you only focus on product, I mean, that's a Hail Mary. Good thing for Apple is it worked out because they made good products that people needed. But let's say in the event that people didn't care about the product Steve Jobs was making, well, then chart just goes down, right? Chart would have just gone down. But with buybacks, does a lot better. There's a reason to hold. If you're a developer of a coin and you're not even willing to buy your own coin and you're just printing it out of nothing, why would I hold it? How does that constitute an investment for me? So yeah, I did think the Tim Cook buyback model was better than just praying that our products are good enough for people to buy them. It's just for stocks. That's not how it works. For these speculative cryptocurrencies, it's not how it works. Up or down September? Well, I'm a little conflicted. I'm not okay. So if you had to give me a real take, like if I had to give you a take forcibly against my own will, I would say the markets are looking a little toppy short term. That's a no-brainer. Volume dropped off. They rotated to Ethereum. It looks a little toppy right now. I think over the next week, we're going to have this boring price action. And then as rate cuts come, as data comes and people just get bullish again, we're going to go up. That's probably what's going to happen. Now, it's going to be an annoying week to make content. Like making videos right now is going to suck because there's probably not much that's going to happen except red candles. So a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything about crypto. Oh my God. But that's my prediction. Now, I am not a truth teller. I don't know where the markets are going to go. I have absolutely no idea. If I knew where the markets were going, I wouldn't be making videos right now. I would be a multi-trillionaire because I would just keep longing and shorting when the market did what it did. But I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. There's just going to be boringness into another blow off volume spike, into more people buying things, and then a continuation on the trend. So we will see. We will see. I see all these YouTubers are just all sad. All the YouTubers are sad because their views are going down because the charts are going down. But my perspective is if I position myself right now, I will be happy. If I position myself right now, I'm going to be very happy. So I'm planning on doing live streams probably for the rest of the year because this is going to be the most interesting time to do crypto. I don't think doing daily live streams in summer would have made any sense. It was boring. It was so bored. There was nothing happening. I got so bored that I started throwing money at different chains to try to make something work. And it did actually work. But man, were we desperate for something to do? We were so desperate for literally anything to do. I mean, future plans. I also want to have like 10, 15-minute segments with people. I've already reached out to a bunch of people, and I think that's going to be interesting. We're probably going to start that pretty soon. But that's pretty much the live stream. People have questions. Ask them now, or you shall be gone in the next 2-3 minutes. The crypto markets are in a fickle state, but there are always opportunities. Always opportunities, even in the most boring of markets. You can't force trades, and it's also way easier to trade when the markets are running versus when they're going down. So I would say if you are someone that wants to actively trade, just don't do it now. It's probably not worth it. UMG says, you think crypto gaming will be back? Like Mavi and Shrapnel? Well, Shrapnel sold themselves to the CCP. So I feel it in myself that they're probably cooked. They have a lot of funding though, but yeah, that chart is not inspiring at all. Mavia is also one of those games where they tried, but unfortunately it just didn't end up working out. I mean, remember when Mavia launched, it was a huge success for the channel. When I got into Mavia, it was, what was it? It was under $1, I think, when I got into Mavia. I made a video on it. I got into it at a really good price. I did really well on Mavia. Like I sold near the top. I sold like $8, $9. And then it went down and people were like complaining at me as if like, oh no, everything's going down. But if you'd watch the videos, you'd know like that's probably the time to leave. When it comes to crypto games, you don't want to be loyal to any crypto game, no matter what. Even if it's a sponsored video or whatever, like you can't be loyal to any crypto game. The likelihood of them making it is very low. If it's a single game ecosystem, the likelihood of them actually making the product work is very, 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 very low. So there's zero reason for you to just buy things just because. It makes no sense at all. You should buy things because it has a hype cycle. People are interested in it and they're doing buybacks or whatever they're doing. And that's it. You leave. You get out of the trade. Get in and out. That's it. You can't stay loyal to any of these crypto gaming ecosystems. I learned that, and I was able to make good profit as a result of not being loyal and just kind of trading the way that it needs to be traded. But I lost a lot of money initially because I just thought, you know, this is going to be the future of finance. And Carrot's one of them. I mean, you guys know I covered Carrot on the channel. That one sucked. look at what happened here. Now, I wear the little My Pet Hooligans shirt, but I don't want to think about what I lost. But of course, there were plays I made a lot of money on because I was more unapologetic with the way that I traded. If you traded into these launches, you did pretty well. And that's mostly crypto right now. Most of crypto is just playing into launches. So I would say when the next big crypto game comes out, I'm going to be playing into how the launch does. If the launch is okay and it looks like they have good funding, I'll buy it. But if the meta is not there, if there's no reason people are buying crypto gaming coins right now, then I'm not going to buy the crypto gaming coin. I'm just going to wait for my thesis to be correct. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for people to start doing some buybacks. I've been looking at XBAR a little bit, but you know, charts like it's okay. Like it's not bad. Waiting for a bigger run on it. I threw like 10K at it recently. It's okay. It's kind of like just chilling. But no, I haven't been throwing a lot of money into crypto gaming coins because right now it's just, there's no reason kind of to do it unless it's doing buybacks. And if it's doing buybacks, it's profitable and it's going to be a good bag to hold. But if they're not doing buybacks, like they probably should be doing because they're a successful gaming company, then what's going to happen is they're going to sell the gaming coin to try to make their game work. And that's going to mean the chart's going to look like terrible. You know, yeah, exactly. Like Big A's got it. WAGME and XBAR have buybacks planned, and they're the only two he stacked. You should pretty much only stack companies that are doing buybacks. If they're doing buybacks, okay, I could justify it. And that's one of the reasons we ended up taking the risk on Meow. It didn't end up working out for us, but still definitely worth the risk. All these buyback companies did pretty damn well. Sir, we do not look at random meme coins on the Soul Chain. Sorry. But that's pretty much going to be the stream. Thank you for tuning in. 30 minutes of your life. It is what it is. It was an honor, a pleasure to be here. I'll be live tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time. I'll see you all later. Stay classy, my friends, and I'll see you all on the next time.